So we're out here again with my W123 Mercedes, and I thought today I'd talk about one of what I would say is probably the most overlooked maintenance points on any car in all reality, but specifically this car, and that would be the rear differential. I can't think of hardly anyone who changes the oil in their differential. I'm fairly confident that this car has never had it changed, which means there's 38-year-old oil whirling around in my differential. So we're going to show you today what you need to do to change your rear differential oil and a couple other things while you've got the car elevated in a safe manner. No Harbor Freight jack stands here, guys. While you've got the car up in the air, what you should look at while you're under there, just to kind of do a visual inspection and see, is there something that's about to come flying apart while you're driving down the highway. So let's take a look at the tools we're going to need. You're going to need a drain pan, George, a gear oil pump of some kind. The one I've got here is for pumping gear oil into the lower unit of an outboard or a stern drive boat. And then over here is some options. You can use either a ratchet with a hex adapter, like an Allen socket, or you can get an enormous, I believe it's 14 millimeter Allen wrench. So right here is our rear differential. This is the fill port, this is the drain port. So before you get all excited and pull your drain plug out, you need to make sure you can get the fill port out. Because if you drain the fluid but can't put it back in, you're going to be in for a whole world of hurt. So you can use either your giant 14 millimeter Allen or a socket that will fit on the end of your ratchet. I'm going to try just the regular Allen. Go old school on this. Hey. Now, if you live in the north, that may not be nearly as easy as that. That popped right loose, basically. So let's try the drain plug down here. Not nearly as easy. What we may need to do is get a breaker bar on the end of this socket adapter so that we can really put some torque on that drain plug. So let me go grab that stuff. In some cases this may just pop right loose, but this one is looking like it's stuck pretty decent. So let's grab some kind of a breaker bar real quick. The first thing that came into my sight was this big pipe, so I'm going to put this in here and then apply this pipe over the end of it and see if we can't crack it loose. And it did move, so it's pretty snug. I'd say it's been in there for a long time. So now at this point we've got stuff moving. I'm going to move the tools out of the way and slide my drain pan underneath the differential. Ew. Look at that stuff. That is some thick, stinky oil. Ugh. Oh, look at this. Got some foam or water or something in there. Not terribly good looking stuff. Be glad to get that changed out. And the car will certainly be happy too. So it wouldn't hurt to take a look at our drain plug. Just see, it doesn't really look like there's any real chunks of stuff. There's a couple little metal shavings, but nothing that I'm really concerned about. Likely just normal wear metal. We'll go ahead and let that drain for a good time. get as much out as we possibly can, and then put the drain plug back in, and we pump in here until it's full. Now that that's been draining for about 5 or 10 minutes, it's basically reduced to string. So I'm going to take my drain plug, wipe it off with a rag, just try and get all the possible contaminants we can out. Avoid putting any extras back in at the very least. And then start the drain plug in. Snug it down. Don't need to use the pipe to put it back in. Just get it decently tight. That's plenty. So now we can grab our gear oil pump and this and stick it up in there and then start pumping our... Now that, see how we've got a steady stream flowing out of there now? That indicates to us that it is full. So we'll take our fill plug and plug it back up. Grab our Allen, snug that down good. There you have it. Now our differential has nice fresh oil in there, and depending on what type you use, I believe either 75W80 or 80W90 is what's recommended. I used 80W90 because I live in a warmer environment, so the thicker oil won't be an issue. And you can use a synthetic oil or a conventional oil as long as it has the proper rating, which should be a GL5 rated gear oil. So now that you've got that done, a couple things that you should inspect while you're right here. Your tank strainer, if you should so desire, which chances are you don't want to, is right there. Take a look at your axle boots. Like mine are getting a little bit cracked and worn and aged, and I may have to either replace those boots or replace the axles before long. Then look up here. Your flex discs, which is this little guy, also perhaps known as a guaibo, is a little rubber dampener in the drive shaft, which I've replaced mine. I've had several fail on me in other cars, and that's not a good time because your drive shaft just kind of comes disconnected from everything. And so while you're under here, it's always a good idea to just kind of eyeball stuff and look for anything that could be a potential issue down the road. And really, other than these axle boots, everything under my car looks surprisingly in good shape. So that's our differential done. Let's crawl out from under here, and yeah, there you have it. In just maybe 10 or 15 minutes, you can change the rear differential oil, one of the most overlooked maintenance points on a W123 Mercedes, I would say anyways. So that should help out your car last a little longer, and who knows, it may even improve your fuel economy, quiet down your highway cruise speeds. Who knows? There's a lot of good effects that come from just taking care of some of the simple maintenance points. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.